You're hanging out in the House of Sunny podcast, where it's always sunny, mostly because of your host, comedian and YouTuber, Sunny Lohman. Want to know what Sunny and her friends are thinking about this week? Well, here she is, Sunny Lohman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the House of Sunny podcast. I'm kind of going solo today. Doug is going to join me in about 10 minutes to go over the gay men's chorus video that came out where they basically said, yeah, we're going to come after your kids and brainwash them to accept us. I really wanted Doug to talk about that with me, so I'm going to wait to talk about that with him. But I did want to just kind of combine things here and just talk about this from a culture war perspective, that more and more it's evident that these people aren't nice, they aren't tolerant, they shouldn't have the moral high ground. They are really evil. They want to force you to think a certain way, and if they can't get to you, they're going to get to your kids. And then this video that we're going to see, the gay men's chorus video, they basically admit all of this. And it shouldn't shock you what they say. I mean, I think we all know that it's happening, but the overtness and the arrogance of it, I feel like when you watch this video, you can really see their mental illness on display. This kind of desperation for the approval at all costs, and the sort of the tyrannical mentality, the tyrannical psychology of someone who could really hurt somebody if they viewed them as going against them in some way ideologically, that they could hurt you, that they want to hurt you, that they don't really regard you as worth. It's almost like it's not almost like, they do not care about the lives and the health of you and your kids. They don't care about that at all. As much as they talk about tolerance and a kind world and everything else, they mean without you in it, because you're not with their approved kind of person. So they're very, very evil. And I believe that we can see this in this video more than we've been able to see, because, they push this kindness and tolerance and equality, and they make us feel like we're on the defensive. Like if I'm against this, then I'm somehow against gay people or equality, or I don't like Black and brown people. If I'm against CRT, if I'm against white hate, then I don't like Black and brown people. So they've set up this, false alternative. And I feel like we've let them, because we don't fully appreciate how effed up they are. It's really hard to see and understand evil. But I think we're all sort of getting the message now. I think we can all, I see a lot of people saying online, I can really see how Nazi Germany happened now. I can really see how that happened. I feel like we're watching it, because you can see this mentality. And another example besides this video that's come out recently is that the teachers union came out and said that critical race theory will be taught nationwide. First of all, I didn't know the teachers unions were in charge of setting educational curriculum for the country. So can somebody please say in the comments how exactly that's a thing? I mean, there's the Department of Education. I thought the Department of Education was sort of setting curricula for schools around the country, and I don't even like that. But now these are unelected bureaucrats setting curricula, and you can kind of push back on that locally. It's hard, but you can do it. But now the teachers union is saying, who are they? Who elected them? What parents decided that they should decide what their kids get taught? I just want you to remember, parents, even though this is government education, we're the customer, right? I mean, if you were going to a private school, you'd be like, let me see your curriculum. Let me see if you're buying a homeschooling package. You want to know what's being taught. You want to understand how it's being taught. You want to evaluate the teachers, what's their credentials. You're the customer, and you have a customer's attitude, and they have sales attitude and they treat you like a customer. But when it comes to government schools, apparently, you're supposed to just not care what's going on in the classroom. You're not supposed to have a say about what your kids are learning. Somebody in Washington, and not even somebody in the government, but somebody in the teachers union is going to tell you what will be taught to your children. And I'm not sure how they will enforce that or manifest that, but they have a lot of power with their members. My mother was a teacher for over 30 years in the Minneapolis public school system, and she consistently votes the way they tell her to. She does what that, her union is a big force in her life. And ideologically, they've told her what to think for 30 plus years. I'm sorry, Mom. But they are a powerful influence on her thinking, I should say. They're not the only influence on her thinking, but these are people you pay dues to, and they supposedly will be protecting you and your jobs. And now they're telling you to teach white kids that they're inherently racist and that there's something wrong with white people and there's something wrong with Black people because Black people are victims and so on. So what's messed up, and here's, like, there's no goodwill here. There's no honesty and goodwill. The head of the teachers union just a couple of weeks ago was saying, oh, these people who are against CRT, we are not teaching it in the schools. This is a lie. They're exaggerating it. They're, crazy. They're conspiracy theorists, basically trying to discredit all the people who are moving against CRT, both, bipartisan, because you've got lifelong Democrats and lifelong Republicans and independents, and everybody's upset about this. Nobody wants this kind of BS. Black people, white people, nobody wants this BS taught to their kids. We want our kids taught science, history, math, reading, right? Not white hate or victimology. That's messed up. That's so messed up. And so anyway, they came out and tried to discredit this whole idea. And then not long later, they came out with a statement saying, yeah, we're going to actually teach CRT in the classroom. So it's like, and are they going to take back? Oh, we called them conspiracy theories, but we didn't, like, that's not really true. We didn't really mean that. No, then we'll never say that they changed their mind so dramatically. They're just total liars. They're total opportunists. They're total tyrants. They're evil. Their ideas are evil. They're hateful. They cause mental illness. They're coming for your children, as we'll see in this video coming up. So you see it in the CRT with the teachers union. You see it in this gay men's chorus. You see it in the fact that there was that spa where that guy was showing his penis off to women and young girls in a locker room in a spa, and it was allowed. And so people protested, and then Antifa came and counter protested and was beating people up, and nobody cares. I'm going to show a Hollywood interview that shows a writer in Hollywood admitting that, yeah, I write stuff that you're going to hate on purpose because you are icky and I don't like you, and you're going to think the way that I think, and I'm going to make you like it. And I'm going to make you swallow my ideas. These people are controlling. They're controlling. And if they have power, they're controlling, hateful, and psychologically, they're so desperate for your approval, they can't leave you alone. They can't leave you alone. And those are the people who end up committing genocide, and they have power. So we're in a scary time. And I think with that, I'll welcome Doug, and we'll look at the video and we'll analyze it. Hey, Doug, thanks for joining me to talk about this video.
Hello, Sunny. How are you today?
Good. How's it going? I know you're busy.
Oh, yes, I'm very busy. Very busy man.
You look like you're the center of attention there. I'd see that movie.
Oh, you froze again.
Yeah, you just froze too. I'd see
What
that
did you
movie,
wait?
Doug.
You froze again. Yeah. Why you absolutely.
What is the movie called?
It's called
Doug's Vacation.
Doug.
Doug's Business. Doug at
That's right.
Work.
What don't they say your porn name is what, like your middle name plus the street you grew up on? So I'm Anthony Sunrise.
Ooh.
You like that?
Yep. I think that means you have a large something.
Oh, it absolutely does. It does
Anthony
not.
Sunrise.
Right. It's about it's a story about my penis reduction surgery.
Oh, I see. Maybe I wouldn't see that. Looks like you've sold some tickets though. Looks like
Well, yeah. They're all men, by the way.
You know
it looks
what?
like too.
Whatever you have, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, there's a market for it. There's an audience. There's a corrupt,
Of course. There's always a market on the internet.
deviant audience
Fetish?
on the internet. Yes, everything is everything can be popular.
The middle-aged creepy guy fetish. People love that.
With a weird porn name. Okay. Speaking of creepy, weird people, we're going to play this video from this gay men's chorus. And just to be clear, Doug and I have no issue with gay people. I think we're for gay rights. I'm for equal rights for everybody. I think that like sodomy laws were absolutely horrifying, right? I mean, for the government to step in and say what you should be doing sexually is messed up. I don't believe that. I'm 100% libertarian on this issue. Regarding gay marriage, I don't even know if we need to get into it, but I've got friends who are gay. They're married. I love them. This is not about gay rights or equal rights. This is about this hard left where they're taking things like, if you're against this, which is so disgusting and despicable that I hope everyone's against it. If you're against this, oh, you're anti-gay. So that's how they're going to try to frame it. And what I'm against is this kind of controlling creepiness, this kind of really nasty, totalitarian mind control attitude that certain activists now have. And it's kind of mainstream because I think people like us who are just good people and don't really have a problem with gay people don't know how to push back on this because we don't want to be labeled homophobes or we really genuinely think that it's nice and good to be for equal rights and not to persecute gay people for being gay, right? And not to have like a different society, second-class citizens and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you give all this leeway.
Why they start with the moral high ground,
Yeah.
Yeah. They start with the moral high ground, with a legitimate complaint, like, hey, we want equal rights under the law. We want to be treated the same under the law and, so on and so forth. And they seize the moral high ground and most reasonable people say, fine, we agree with that. You should be treated differently based on that. Okay, great. And then it's like, all of a sudden, it goes a little bit further. Well, now we're going to start bringing drag queens into your, preschool or school or something. It's like,
it doesn't even start there. It starts even smaller than that. But now, like, you can show your dick to a little girl in a spa, and it's fine.
Yeah. And then if you push back against that, you're labeled as if you're just as bad as the person who's totally against gay people and wants to, banish them.
Your Westboro Baptist Church, if you don't want a dick shown to your daughter in a locker room in a spa, you're like a crazy Westboro Baptist Church bigot. And
exactly, no nuance.
What we've been talking about and what I've been saying now for like, I don't know, maybe like a year, is the attitude that a lot of these gay and trans people activists have. And I'm not painting the brush of everybody. I'm saying the activists. And I consider this video made by people who I would categorize that way, although there's so many of them. And there's so many people quietly allowing these people to sort of set the narrative that it is now like the gay agenda is bad. It's evil. Because it is being controlled by these people. It is absolutely set by these crazy, nasty, evil people. And, so in order to fight back on it, we have to understand like psychologically what is going on. And to me, what their goal is they will create a society without bigots. They're so psychologically concerned about what you and I think or what everybody thinks. They don't want one bigot left unturned. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's one bigot in America, they're going to get them. They are going to turn them into someone who has to kneel and accept their lifestyle, you know? Like, it's, who is like that? I don't tell other people what to do, you know?
No.
So to really get into that mentality, you will approve of me. Like, there's a rage and this is evil. This is how every evil thing in the entire history of mankind has ever happened, is with this attitude of, you know,
Well, it's
looking
also
at another human being and insisting that they feel and think the way that makes you feel okay, you know?
and what do you think? I mean, this breaking down of any standard too seems to be out of the, I don't know if it's out of the postmodern playbook or what, because there's a sense here in which, you know, not only are they saying treat us equally, but then we want to normalize things like drag queens and these kinds of lifestyles, as if anyone who thinks that that's at all out of the norm, which it is somehow bigoted and evil. And that to me is an attempt to tear down and undermine any kind of standard of conduct whatsoever. And
Well, they've taken like
that to me is even
every
deeper problem,
every
which is going on across
deviancy.
society.
Yeah, every deviancy from the norm, or every problem or struggle or mental health issue that has to do with sex. I mean, just to take this group, has to now be normalized, you know? Nobody can judge it. And they've made it like fluid, and there's a spectrum, and like, you know, anything goes. And then not only that, but you will accept it, you know? Like, just ooh. And not only in that sort of anger, you will accept it way, but now it's getting to, if I have to damage your children, like damage them mentally, if I have to cause them to have bad mental health so that they will themselves have problems, sexual problems, that then will lead them to accept sexual problems because they have one. So if everybody gets a sexual problem, then there's no bigotry. That's literally what they're saying they want to do. And you will see in this video, specifically, they are saying that. They are specifically saying they want to expose young kids to shit they shouldn't see, sexual stuff that they should not see, which is what causes a mental problem. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this
Because
isn't
for
nothing.
them, because for them, it's not a mental problem. They don't regard these sort of like deviancies, which they are, because they are abnormal. And
They don't.
there's a difference between something being abnormal and something being judged to be completely immoral. For example, like, I think it's clear, it's by definition abnormal to be gay, because 90 something percent of people are not gay. So that is an abnormal, it's an abnormality in nature. And yes, it does happen, and we can accept it, and it's fine. I don't judge people for it. I don't want to see them treated differently under the law or whatever. I don't care what people do in their bedroom or who they want to
Right.
love or whatever. That's fine. But to then go over that and say, no, not only is this normal, but now we're going to muddy the water so much for kids at a very young age, so that they don't even recognize that there's
They don't even know what
female
normal is.
biology.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's just like a totally,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
We
No
can't
stand.
we can't communicate two genders because we want little kids to think that there are no genders and that it's any gender, and we're going to make sure that they think that regardless of what you want as a parent. And I mean, the question is, why is this a problem? And I think it is a problem because it's creating mental problems. The people in this video who want to raise your children and tell your kids and the families of America what to think. They're fucked up. Because if they were mentally healthy, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't have this deep need for everyone to approve of them.
Right.
And they're not happy people. So it's like the standard is being set by the really messed up people in the world. And that goes along with, it's not just this issue.
And the
I'm
fact that
seeing this like
anyone,
universally on the left. This is their thing, is like, there's mental illness and then you will approve of me. And then I'm going to set the standards that all of you healthy people are going to have to like get. It's like that socialism thing. We're not going to raise up the poor. We're going to cut down the
everyone can be
successful.
equally miserable.
Yeah. So let's all be equally sexually deviant and miserable and weird and have like, I mean, you will see they talk about Grindr and little kids, and it's like, that's a hookup app. Like that's the Cardi B of dating apps, Grindr. And that's what they want your kids to be like. That they want them, they use that as a metaphor. They want your children to be like Grindr.
So they can feel better about themselves or something, or feel like less
Accepted. They want to be accepted psychologically. They want to not feel like you're not judging me because you're more effed up than I am.
And the fact that anyone has anything to say about other people's kids in this regard is absolutely just beyond the pale. Like both of us are parents. The thought of me going to another parent and like telling them or trying to guide them in some way about their own kids and like at that, sexuality and things like that, that's like so off limits and uncool and so unacceptable. Like you do not be messing with people's children. That's it,
Right.
That's a point at which you're going to cause not only just a backlash against, what probably started off as a reasonable movement for just equal rights and things like that, like we talked about before, but you're talking about like creating a level of violence and then violent antipathy, because when you're messing with people's children, you're messing at a very, very deep level here. And
and they're trying to force their ideas on everybody else in America. And those people are going to push back at some point, and unfortunately things have to go to extremes. So it's kind of the same thing happening with race right now. If enough white people get fed up,
yeah,
it's going to blow up. And those white people are going to become white nationalists. Like that is because they have to in order to push back. They can't be white reasonable people, because if they are, they lose.
And if
and
you
they
think
become
your
second-class
ideas,
citizens, and they're scared of genocide and whatever else,
exactly. So then you end up banding together on that basis. And
I don't want to do that, but as a white person, at some point, if it comes down to those two choices, which one am I going to choose?
Yeah, if you're going to force me into that.
If they force me into it, I don't want to. I was raised without thinking about race at all. I was raised around a lot of Black people, and I didn't think about it at all. And I had friends who were gay in high school. I knew they were gay. Like no one has ever. I've never had a problem with this. And now I'm sitting here and I have to evaluate this video because these gay people are saying, I'm going to make sure your kids are gay or effed up or have issues or like have seen so much. We've desensitized them to sexual deviancy that they don't judge it anymore. And not just mine, but all of America. Like, let's say I was even on their side. I think what their attitude is evil. This controlling attitude.
Because they're saying like our ideas on sexuality are absolutely true, 100%. And yet they don't extend that same courtesy to others who might disagree with them to say, what about these other people that say, well, we think our ideas about sexuality are right. There's a conversation, there's an argument, there's nuance to this, there's science to this, there's psychology to this. For them to have this level of arrogant disregard for other people, other people's children, other people's ideas about sexuality, about religion, spirituality, philosophy, ethics, is that really
That's
starts
the
to piss
part.
me off.
I mean, even as a free marketer, whatever my philosophy is, There are a lot of people who don't agree with me. I am healthy. I want to persuade them. You know, it's just nuts. These people are nuts.
Give me the argument.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's what they want to do instead. Let's see. I will put a link to this tweet because you can't watch their video anymore because they took the video private because of course they're getting a ton of backlash. Let me start it over here.
As we celebrate Pride and the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights,
it's not synced up. I wonder if I make it smaller.
Message for you.
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect.
First of all, we don't think you're sinful. We're not fighting against your rights. Like, what? You're paranoid. You have paranoid delusions on top of your totalitarian tendencies.
But you're just frightened.
Also, those eyebrows, right?
And you think that we'll corrupt your kids.
But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids.
If our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct.
What'd you think of that? Fine, you're correct. Okay. We're going to corrupt your kids. We're going to corrupt. He even accepts that word. We're going to corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. True. That's our plan. We're going to corrupt your children.
We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Or else, right? We're going to make them tolerant and fair.
Okay.
We're going to make sure they're not bigots. We're going to make sure they accept us no matter what. It's, it is so totalitarian. It's so evil.
The irony is probably lost on them that they're not going to tolerate anyone who disagrees with them.
Okay. I'm sort of annoyed that this is off sync, and I apologize for that, but the heck, where did it go?
Up in the upper right.
At first, I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but I see now why you'd have a problem with that.
Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go at night to protests. Oh, and you'll be disgusted so gross when they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight.
You'll be disgusted when they start finding things online that you've kept far from their sight. So you are a bigot, I guess, for trying to protect your kids from seeing stuff online. I don't let my kids look
at any porn. So I don't know. What are they talking about here?
What do you think?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What would you stumble across online that might disgust a person who is against this whole gay agenda, I guess, would it be gay sex? So our little kids, this guy wants little kids exposed to gay sex online so that they regard it as okay, in defiance of the parents' own values. And that's okay. That's something that they want to happen.
Yeah.
They wrote a song about it and they're singing about it. This is what they want,
Yeah. Like, how about no porn for kids?
Yeah. How about no porn? But that's the thing I'm trying to say. They actually want, and they said it, they want to corrupt the children so that they create a society of tolerant people, which means people who accept any fucked up thing. any fucked up sexual thing because the kids are so fucked up.
Yeah, that's such a misnomer.
Because they've been watching gay sex since they were 10 online or younger.
Yeah.
I mean, that's child abuse. But if you as a parent are trying to protect your kids, he's mocking and laughing at, haha, it doesn't matter that you're disgusted. Like parents trying to protect their children from being exposed to sex too young.
Yeah. Like
Porn.
as if there's no legitimate concern that a psychologist parent would have over exposing an immature child to sexual images that they can't possibly understand at a certain age, much less gay sex or something like that. I mean, you're just getting into you're opening such a Pandora's box here. It's like, would you tolerate your kid watching a horror movie at a young age or anything that like they can't process because they're immature, whether it's violence, whether it's sexuality at any level, anything.
What
like,
sort of bigot
that's
are
why
you to
kids
protect
watch
your kids
Disney
from horror
cartoons
movies
and stuff like that.
You know, you're bigoted against horror
Are you
movies? Yeah. All right. Keep going.
Let's look at
Where the heck
Pinocchio
was it?
here.
Why am I having so much hard time finding this thing again? There we go. Then I have to full screen it again.
Like information. Guess what? You'll still be alright.
Guess what? You'll still be alright.
Convert your children. Yes, we will. Reaching one and all. There's really no escaping it. 'Cause even grandma likes RuPaul. And the world's getting kinder. Gen Z's gayer than Grindr. Learn to love, learn to vote.
So the world's getting kinder, which is, so it's kindness to accept people with mental problems. You know, I mean, I don't even know what this means.
Is that true?
I don't think the world is getting kinder. I think we're getting angrier and more divided. And
Absolutely.
I don't know if is it kind. What is kindness anyway? I don't even know what they mean by that.
Yeah.
They don't mean equality. They mean, because they're talking about forcing your children to do what they want. Is that kind? They think that's kindness, to corrupt kids for their own. I want to be accepted. That's not kindness.
No, it's not at all.
And you heard him say Gen Z is gayer than Grindr. So Gen Z, my niece is Gen Z. She's 13 years old. And Grindr, as I previously mentioned, is a gay hookup app. It's not a dating app. It's a gay hookup app. And it's the Cardi B of dating apps. Like it's hookup. It's gross. You know, I don't care if you're gay or straight. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's undignified and despicable. And, you know, if you're doing that, you have mental problems. And they are happy that Gen Z is gayer than Grindr. They're talking about little kids. I think Gen Z can go up to like 25. But, you know, it's a 15-year span. So we're talking about like 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, like going up to, you know, and I see a lot of people in their early 20s really struggling with their sexuality right now because it's so cool to be trans. I'm seeing a lot of people getting sort of weirdly sucked into needing to actually identify as queer and fluid in order to be accepted as okay, because of people like these assholes.
Face your face.
Look at him smiling.
Will convert your children. Someone's got to teach them not to hate.
Someone's got to teach them not to hate. You don't want to, so we're going to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so evil.
Yeah, like you have no right to teach your children values that you find acceptable. We've decided what's moral and what's immoral and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And if you're not going to do it, we'll do it for you.
And the psychology behind it is this nasty, angry, insecure, whining for approval. These people need therapy.
Just go do your thing, you know.
Yeah, just do your damn thing. What is wrong with you?
Go do your thing and leave us. What the fuck?
Look at all these people who thought this was a good idea. We're coming for your children. Proud.
Why would you be
Fucking
proud
proud of
of
that?
something you don't control? I thought sexuality is something you don't control.
Your children will care about fairness and justice for others.
Your children will care about fairness and justice for others. They will. This is Nazi shit. Like, it's not even Nazi shit. I don't even know. There's nothing like this that's ever been in the whole history of mankind.
Yeah. This is fairness and justice. Like, can we define these terms, please? I love how they just throw these terms out like they have a monopoly on the understanding, the philosophical understanding of what fairness and justice mean.
Apparently, fairness and justice means taking other people's children away from them and indoctrinating them. This is like out of the most despicable dystopian novel. Like, I don't even think this has existed in the world before. We're in serious trouble with these people setting the agenda.
Your children will work to convert all their sisters and brothers. Then soon we're almost certain your kids will start converting you. The gay agenda is coming home. The gay agenda is here. But you don't have to worry. Because there's nothing wrong with standing by our side. Get on board in a hurry. Because the world always needs a bit more pride.
Get on board. You know, now we're going to target the parents here. You know, then the kids are going to go home and they're going to convert you. Don't worry, get on board now. Because this is where the world is going. This word, the gay agenda, that's creepy in and of itself. People are people.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry. Because there's nothing wrong with standing by your side. Get on board in a hurry. Because the world always needs a bit more pride. Come on, try a little pride. We'll convert your children. Then we'll turn to you. Giving up the fear inside is freeing like you never knew. Go and see San Francisco. Go and turn up that disco. You'll forget you were ever upset. We'll convert your children and make an ally of you.
Upset.
We'll make an ally
Who's
of
upset?
We'll make an ally of you.
We'll make an ally of you yet?
An ally to their agenda. Oh, I feel sick. I really feel sick. These people are so gross. And you know what it reminded me of? It was so funny because as I was watching this, I just have to show this to you. I don't think I'm sharing my screen, but I will in a second as I bring it up here. Because it reminded me of the expression on the face of King George in the Hamilton musical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll be back. You know, when he sort of psychotically sings the
I didn't see it, but
okay, I'm just gonna play this because tell me if this doesn't look exactly like that guy's face. Okay. Sorry, there's a commercial here.
Oh.
Noom. Okay. So this is the scene where King George sings this song in Hamilton that is, you know, he's basically, it's really funny because it's sung from the perspective of like the king is like an abusive psycho narcissist. And he's like, you'll be back, you know, you need me. And
I'll make an ally of you yet.
but just look at the expression on his face, because I thought that when I was watching this gay video for the first time, I thought, oh my God, he's got the same expression as King George in this song.
Remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da.
I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. I mean, that's kind of what they are doing. They're like,
that's so perfect.
I love you. We need love and kindness, and you will be love and kindness, or I will send a fully armed battalion and take your children. With a smile.
By the way, what, it bothers me that they're proud, because if gayness is hereditary and it's not a choice, then what are you proud of? Like, I'm not proud that I have ears. I'm not proud that I have teeth or something like that, right? Isn't that a contradiction?
Yeah. It sounds like an insecurity to me. Like, if you're insecure about something, you need to be like, I'm fine. I'm proud of it.
Proud of that. Yeah.
Proud of that. Like people who are actually like not insecure about something don't need to like say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. If like I had 8 fingers or something, I would be like, I'm proud of the fact that I have 8 fingers. Like, no, that's what happened and that's what I am. Okay. So
yeah,
leave me alone.
I am just seeing this sort of thing. This is the psychology of the totalitarian. This kind of like, you will accept me. And we're seeing that with the critical race theory and the teachers unions, now saying that they support that. And it doesn't matter that parents don't want this. And I've seen teachers on TikTok saying, I'm going to teach this anyway. And and they're doing it with this sort of moral righteousness. And it's like, do you hear yourself? Like, you're the bad guy. You remember that scene where, I can't remember what movie it is, where the Nazi looks at the other guys and goes, are we the baddies? What movie is that from?
I don't know. But, the whole idea that all these movements supposedly, of course they didn't, started as like some reaction to the religious mores of, religious conservatives or something like that. And they're going to push for tolerance and we can't judge these things, and we're all ethically relative and whatnot. And suddenly they flip the script now where they're the morally righteous inquisitors. They like to have this inquisition that they're going to impose their vision of morality on everybody else, or else. So get on board. I mean, talk about a total inversion. And like, is that irony not lost on them? Or apparently it is. Like, if you're just fighting to be treated equally and like, leave me alone, I'm all for you, but if you're going into other people's lives and telling them what to do and telling them what's right and wrong, then I got a problem.
That's exactly right. And that is the difference between, I feel like, one side and the other at this point. And this goes with the Christians and the people who normally wouldn't have been natural allies of people who, I think there was like this idea that it was the Christians who were censoring and the Christians who were against people living lives how they wanted to live them. And that's not who it is anymore. It's these people. But they've taken what felt like a real mild values push in the 80s and stuff. And now it's like this, it's the hammer. It is not nice. It is really nasty. And I think it's because these people are sick in the head. I want you to see something else before you go.
1 minute.
Yeah. So this is I was watching this video by this guy, this nerdrotic guy, who was talking about the Picard show. And he showed this quote from the guy who wrote Picard, which is this awful SJW. You know, they've destroyed the whole Star Trek franchise with SJW stuff, just like they've done with Star Wars. And if you think they're being stupid, or you think they don't really understand it, or you think they don't know, or whatever, which is, I think, like, this is a dangerous thing for us to think that these people don't know what they're doing and that they're not really effed up. Like, there's no reasoning with these people. There's no discussion. Right. They need to be put down and kicked out of society. And by put down, I don't mean murdered or something. What I'm saying is they should, they need to just be slapped down. No, not happening. No CRT in schools, period. I'm not even going to argue about it with you. Just no. You know what I mean?
It's not a debate.
So
they don't want to debate. If they don't want to debate, then I don't want to debate.
And this is like the sickest in the head people running our society. They will force their ideas on you. And so I just wanted to read this because here's the interview says to him. So were there things about Picard that you knew you wanted to do that you could sense would test some boundaries for fans? So he's saying, the fans of Star Trek aren't going to like this that you've put into Picard, right? I mean, did you know that ahead of time? And he answers, sure, to the extent that I was aware of the kind of toxic fandom. What? The anti-SJW, sad little corner of fandom. You just disregard that. Sometimes you're motivated to have things simply because it's possibly going to piss off or provoke people who seem to have missed the memo about just what exactly Star Trek is and always has been about. I mean, this guy's like, he is hating on fans who don't want this SJW stuff.
Yeah.
And calling it a sad little corner.
Star Trek was about, anti-racism, and, like the 60s message of, equal rights and civil rights and things like that. And okay, fine. But now that we've gone to this other level of SJW, they just lump all that in as if there's no nuance between a fully Marxist, communist, cultural revolution
and civil rights
and just simple civil rights that we were asking
meanwhile,
for in the 60s.
Martin Luther King is, persona non grata because colorblindness is not okay.
Right. Because that's canceled.
So it's the opposite of the civil rights ideas. And it's the opposite of Star Trek. And so, but there's a guy who wrote it who's saying, yeah, sometimes I put stuff in just because I knew it would bother people. Yeah, like gleefully, like, yeah, I can't fucking wait to tell you that I don't like you and what I think about you. I don't care what you want. In fact, I have contempt for you. And I'm going to make you take something I know you don't like. I'm going to make you swallow it.
Well, thanks, Sonny. I hope
this is the totalitarian. This is the totalitarian mentality that we're up against, and it's just like we have to start seeing it as this sort of nasty, hateful, controlling, icky. These people are icky.
Yeah, we have to seize the moral high ground here. This is not just, oh, these people are a little wacky or a little loony and ha ha ha. This is now a full-fledged moral and political battle.
They're coming for your children.
When you're coming for my children, you've got a problem.
And you can see it everywhere because it's everywhere. I mean, you have kids, I have kids. We have to protect our kid. Like she is surrounded by this stuff. And it's a really big question how I'm going to protect her from some of these ideas. The sexualization, the CRT, the anti-whiteness. And, it is everywhere. They are doing it. And we have to get rid of these people. All right. Thanks for joining me, Doug, and talking about that video.
Bye, everybody. Have fun.
All right. That's Doug going bye-bye. So I think I'm just going to end the podcast here. And that's it for this week. Let us know in the comments what you think about everything, what you want us to cover next week or the week after. I'm going to try to get back to a more regular schedule like usual. But that's a little bit hard, and it's summer, and I got just a lot of stuff going on, but things are all right. Let's see. What else was I going to say? That's it. That's it. So let me know what you want me to talk about. Thanks for joining us.
There is a house called the House of Sunny. It's filled with satire and fun. It's been the demise of bad ideas, and we'll know what's right when she's done. So download this free podcast now and give perspectives you may lack. It's concise and right and achieves world peace, guaranteed all your money back. Last time, ready?